Okay, but I think it's 6 p.m. so we can totally start, right? So I wanted to again loop back on the topic we wanted to focus on today, which is really women of today. And I'll be presenting basically the kind of the overall presentation. And so maybe we can move to the next slide so you can talk about kind of a little bit of who I am, right? So I'm Isa, or Isabelle obviously is my kind of more formal name. I'm the business lead for Komo. But also, on the side, I kind of help out more largely in EastWest Bank, where Komo was kind of developed. I am a board member of EastWest Bank, and I'm also a special projects officer looking at kind of the strategic initiatives of the bank. So thanks again for joining me today, and thanks for Bixie for inviting us to speak. I'm here today to kind of chat with you guys about Komo and kind of how we can help everyone on the call, reach their goal of knowing and growing your worth through finances. So, we'll keep things brief and casual today, and, we're happy to answer any questions you would have for us. But let me start, introducing or getting you to understand Komo by, talking about a persona or, someone who might be relatable to many of you guys on the call, right? So let's call her, Maria. So, meet Maria, right? So she is a single mother of 3. She's a public school teacher. And although she earns enough to kind of make ends meet, she thinks that she could be kind of earning more, right? I think many people maybe can relate to that. Because of her income also and her, family needs, she is part of this 47% of Filipinos who don't really save, right? Unfortunately. With regards to finances and money management, she finds that all a bit intimidating, and she doesn't really have the time to kind of open an account, right? Or to go to a branch and fill up the forms, because she's a busy woman, and I think many of us here are as well, right? She has, on top of having 3 kids to take care of, she really doesn't want to kind of go outside, especially during COVID, to kind of open a bank account, right? So overall, I guess we would describe her as quite overwhelmed or quite, intimidated, right? From, everything on banking and financing. So, what else do we know about Maria, right? So she, apart from being a public school teacher, she actually also has a side business. She, sells clothes. She's bakes pastries and sells them online. And she goes to Facebook, like where we are, today, and she lists her products and tries to sell them, right, on an online shopping platform. But she does this because she wants extra funds kind of for her family's necessities, right? And Maria thinks these funds actually could be saved up, but she has a tendency to kind of lose track of her expenses. She is has trouble kind of budgeting, and so the tendency is for her to kind of start overspending or going beyond kind of her budget that she has, right? So what happens there is, obviously, as a single mom, she fears that, okay, without savings, without budgeting, if something unexpected happens, her children won't really be protected, right? And she doesn't have the resources kind of for them to be able to have a sufficient kind of life moving forward. So that's also one of her fears, right? But she does know that she loves her kids, and there's nothing else she wants to do in the world but spend time with them. But again, the time element also worries her in a bit, because once she's older, she feels that she isn't also ready for retirement, right? So I think overall, if we kind of understand who Maria is, we feel that she's again overwhelmed. It's not really easy for her to handle money. And it also doesn't, it it also makes her a little bit worried to kind of get her feet moving, especially on finances, right? But we also know that, as Filipinos, as women, especially like a single mom, it doesn't discourage her from doing better. And she feels hopeful that she can get the right tools, she can, get the right equipment to be able to help her have better finances, right? And so she knows this is the road to financial freedom. And she knows she needs help to kind of get to that stage where she wants. So the good news is she has a goal and she wants to have a better life, right? And so, where could she really find help, right? And I guess this is where, Bixie and Komo kind of come in and help people like Maria. Firstly, how can, Komo help, right? Well, we are a digital banking service. I mean, that means everything can be done on the mobile phone, kind of without the need for branches. But our mission is really to give Filipinos more control and flexibility when it comes to managing their money. And our mission is really to simplify the lives of, Filipinos by providing convenient, secure, and reliable services. So, we believe a lot on this control aspect, and that's why a while ago I was trying to show you the back of my shirt, but it said "Control mo ang pera mo." Hence Komo, right? So it's actually a shortcut for control mo, or control your money. And that's really kind of the cry we want for people to have, right? And so, we'll talk more about the features later, but I think a lot of the part on control is about kind of, being able to have access to your account, being able to open it just online, being able to do management of your debit cards, yourself, and also all your transactions being very accessible and convenient for you, right? So we'll go a bit more into it, but let's also focus kind of on Bixie, right? Because I think, again, everyone should, if you don't already have the app, not just Komo, but Bixie, you should totally download it. But Bixie is about, being a female-focused platform. Of course, that's something very kind of close to my heart, being obviously a woman and a woman in tech. And I think it's really important that, Bixie is a platform with a mission to encourage kind of savings and wealth generation, being done through kind of knowledge, tools, and also having kind of a network of other women you can talk to, right? So, solutions kind of on financial products, wellness, financial support, right? And also kind of being able to increase kind of financial inclusion, right? So I think it's a perfect kind of partnership, where what Komo does and what Bixie does has a great overlap in kind of our mission, right? And so all in all, I think, these are kind of the tools that Maria needs to kind of help her start on her financial journey, right? And so, let's move on to, some very specific cases of how Komo can kind of help someone like Maria, right? And so, what we mentioned again is, she's very busy. She doesn't really have time to open a bank account, and she's intimidated kind of by this whole personal finance and money management, right? So, Komo offers also, if you go to our website, kind of like a blog on articles and guides about, personal finance and money management. We answer actually the questions that people have through our Hey at Komo PH kind of email, right? So like email us if you have any questions. Again, it's hey at komo.ph. But we do have articles about, okay, how do you do budgeting? What is insurance and things like that, right? So any basic questions you have, we are able to answer and kind of help you guide through that journey. The second thing also about Komo is account opening. So we mentioned, right? I guess nobody's really leaving their house because of the Omicron surge. But even before that, I think people or women, right, especially, didn't really have the time to kind of go to a branch and open an account. So our major goal was really to focus on an ease of account opening, right? But what does that mean? Firstly, of course, you could do it on your mobile phone, but we also only ask for like one ID, right? And everything else is just doing a selfie, giving some minimal information, and within a very short period of time, you can already get an account and be able to use it fully. So a lot of it is on the convenience part, and also kind of just it's still being very secure also with kind of the checks we do. And so what else that we also give, right? So apart from having a savings account like at your fingertips, we actually also give you a debit card, right? So while we don't, if you're trying to save, we wouldn't encourage obviously heavy e-commerce spending on, like I'm sure is there going to be like a 223344 promo every month for the rest of the year, but it is important for people to actually have that debit card for any of their needs, right? So we give you a debit card with the account. It's also given to you by courier, so you also don't need to pick it up. So it actually goes to your house. You can track where the debit card is being delivered at any time, and then once you get it, you activate it, right? So it's a very secure kind of management on the debit card. And then once you have it, you can actually control kind of where you can use it, right? So meaning if you only wanted to withdraw for ATMs, you could just use that. So you could just lock the kind of like the e-commerce option. You could lock being able to use it on point of sales or in stores and merchants, and you could only use it for ATM. So it's very clear that way, right? So if you want to also stop shopping, you could lock it for e-commerce, for example. So a lot of it is on kind of customizing your debit card, which is really helpful. The other thing we also talked about is also kind of the account management part, right? So I mean, there are changes that go on with your life. You might get a new, mobile number. You might get a new email. You can actually just change kind of your, you can change all that at any time with validations to make sure it's secure. You could change your passcode. So you have a passcode to kind of log into the app. You could use that and change it at any time. And the main also security feature we have is biometrics. So we have that for login and transaction. So again, rather than relying on OTP, where sometimes the network's not good, or sometimes you don't, want to get an SMS, you can actually just do like Face ID, and you'll be able to kind of be able to authorize all the transactions and logins, which is really efficient and convenient. So what else would someone like Maria kind of find help in, right? Well, the big thing now is also, as we mentioned, there's a lot of transactions. So she is an online seller, and so she has to like send and receive money all the time. You guys on the calls must also be sending and receiving money all the time. Everyone's in digital payments now. So we have, free funds transfers, right? So that's, we mainly have InstaPay for sending, but we also have Pesonet and InstaPay for receiving as well. But you could do, kind of free funds transfers, which is a great thing, especially if you guys are really active in your payments. And so we find that to be a great kind of perk for people who are obviously transacting quite a bit, right? Yeah, and then moving on as well for kind of with transfers, I think the other convenient thing that's been going on now is using QR codes. So I think rather than giving people your whole account number, you can actually just send them the QR code. They'll scan it. They'll be able to kind of send you money. And so it's a really convenient way. So we also have that. So Komo recently launched kind of like peer-to-peer payments using QR codes. So that's also been a really exciting development. We'll have something on P2P also using another means really soon. Don't want to spoil it, but it should be coming soon. So we'll have even more ways for you guys to be able to transfer. Okay, and another thing as well is, being able to kind of look at your statements and also get certificates. I think one of the differentiators we definitely have is being able to create statement of account, and being able to actually get bank certificates straight on the app, versus I think traditional banks, you actually have to go to a branch, you have to request for it, and then in like 3 days, then they give you the bank certificate, right? Here, you could actually just specify the purpose of why you need your bank certificate. You could get it actually instantly on the app, right? So again, super convenient. Not all also other digital banking services or digital banks offer this. So this one's also a very convenient kind of use case for a lot of people. And again, regarding the budgeting, regarding learning about your account, one cool thing that we actually recently launched last year is the country's first kind of in-app analytics tool, right? For a digital banking service. So, what you could do here is you can actually view on a month-by-month basis, like, okay, how many deposits did I do for the month? But how many withdrawals or expenses did I have, right? And you'd be able to kind of track your funds, manage your budget, and see where they're going. And then you could be able to set savings goals kind of through the savings calculator that we also have in the app. So it's a really cool tool, especially for people who care about budgeting. But also it's really cool if you want to see kind of the movement, or the graphics are really nice as well. So here at Komo, we totally focus on UI, UX, and having things really easy to understand. So again, if you guys download it, definitely check out this feature. Okay, and then moving to kind of the next feature, but it's really a product. I think something we try to do at Komo is try to expand kind of the products people can avail of in the app, right? So one thing that would be good is to be able to buy insurance. So we actually have something called True Flex, which is True is actually a JV between EastWest and Ageas, which is a very known global insurance company, one of the largest in the world. And what you could do here, again, from a control aspect, is actually to customize and choose the types of insurance you want, or the rider. So you could choose like how much you want for your coverage, what type of kind of inclusions are included there. And then you could have, you could pay or get annual coverage for as low as 428 pesos a year, right? So again, super affordable. It doesn't need to cost that much, and you get kind of life insurance already. So that's pretty cool. And that's a product we have today already. Okay, and what else do we have? Again, I think a big feature of our users is definitely the bills payment feature. So you always need to pay bills. Obviously, Maria has bills also to pay. And so you can do that all in the app. So we have a wide range of billers that you could do for basically bills payment. And lastly, which is really the biggest question we always get, is like, okay, what's the interest rate, right? So the great thing about being part of a digital banking service is we're able to kind of give you rates that are obviously much better than I think traditional banks. So for Komo, we actually offer as much as 2.5% interest for balances that are 500K and below. And then once kind of your balances move up, it's a tiered rate, right, where it goes a little lower, because we're really trying to focus on those who are trying to save, and those are the balances 500,000 and below, right? We also have a promo though ongoing, where if you increase your kind of your average deposit balance by 5,000 within a month, right? We actually give you a 4% rate, which is great, which is like one of the highest, basically, kind of in the market today, right? So that should be really exciting. And that promo is ongoing. So definitely check it out, check our website. And if you want, you could earn as much as 4%, which is a really good rate. And again, as I mentioned, not only do you get the interest rate, but you actually have the savings tool or the analytics tool to kind of obviously complement kind of the savings that you would want to do, right? So kind of with all these features, and I kind of went through a laundry list. I apologize if people got very overwhelmed, but what does that do kind of for Maria, right? So that leads people to be that leads Maria to basically have all her financial needs taken care of, right? From Komo. So she kind of becomes the woman she wants to be today. She's able to be empowered to make her financial decisions because she has the tools in her place. She's knowledgeable because she can read about kind of basic financial information. And she feels secure because the tool or the app that she's using, it's not only intuitive, but actually it's also kind of safe because she feels like she has biometrics. She can do all the management by herself, doesn't need to rely on anybody else. So kind of that's really what Komo does, and that's really what we envision for it to do. So again, if you want to be like Maria, or if you are not like Maria but you totally want to avail of some of the benefits that we mentioned here and really be part of a what we call community of really great people who want to start saving and growing their wealth, you should definitely download the Komo app. We're available on kind of every, I guess, app store, Play Store, and app gallery for Huawei. That's available. So yeah, just scan the QR code. Use the referral code also. That's listed here, which is WOT Bixie. And we look forward to kind of having you guys as part of the community. And I want to thank everyone again for listening in on kind of the short introduction for Komo. But again, we welcome. I think we have a few questions, so we'll actually spend some time answering questions. And if you have any more questions, or if you want an article written on certain money management topics, send in your questions again here, hey@komo.ph, and we'll try our best to answer them. So thank you again. And now let me just go through kind of the questions one by one. Cool, okay. Okay, so the first question we got is Komo available for OFWs and any persons living outside the Philippines? Okay, the answer to that is, to open a Komo account, you actually need to have a Philippine number. But if you are a Philippine citizen and you have a Philippine mobile number accessible to you, then you are able to open a Komo account. Please note though that since we're under Komo is actually under the rural bank, which is EastWest Rural Bank. So you need to send money there, but we're not available for international remittance. So it's usually local remittance, local transfers for funding. But if again, we have actually many customers who live abroad, but they're also our Komo customers because they're able to also use it for kind of the local transactions, right? So again, if you have a local PH number and if you have, if you're a Filipino citizen, then you're allowed to open a Komo account. So please join us. Okay, the next question. Do you have features for small businesses? Okay, right now Komo is mainly focused on kind of retail. So like, the individuals who need to open a Komo account, but we are in progress in our roadmap to be able to kind of offer services for kind of businesses later on. So right now, mainly individuals, but again, we are tailoring our services in the roadmap for small businesses. But again, that doesn't really stop you from still being a kind of an online merchant or an online seller for and still using your Komo account, because I guess the transfers again are super convenient. The using the QR and everything is also super convenient. So you're still able to kind of receive and send transfers quite easily as a like a sole proprietor, as like a single kind of business owner, right? So again, that kind of shouldn't stop you, but we are working on different more features for you guys. Okay, cool. Then, I just want to shout out to Ariane, who said she already has a Komo account. Thank you so much for the support. and we're always happy to see obviously satisfied customers. So thank you again for having open Komo. Okay. We have a couple of questions actually on kind of challenges and what are the challenges faced by women of today, and also the opposite, which is what are women today kind of thriving about, right? So I mean, I guess we can talk about, well, it's a very broad question, but I could kind of continue, well, at least relate to my own experience maybe, or what I see as well. So I guess some of the challenges faced by women today, especially I guess during the pandemic, is kind of being able to balance all aspects of work and life at the same time. I think we can again try to answer the question on challenges faced by women today. So again, well, we talked about being able to balance kind of the work life balance during the pandemic. I think that was one challenge because a lot of women kind of have to do kind of both at the same time and in the same environment, right? So I guess the other challenges for women as well today is also kind of in the workplace. I think we're lucky that at least in the Philippines culturally, women are kind of quite active also, working and kind of having a very strong professional life. But I understand also in certain industries or in certain cultures, sometimes, being able to be successful in the workplace is also a little harder, right? So I think it's all about the kind of the mental health and kind of the stress that comes along with that, right? But I think people have kind of thrived through that, and we're making also good progress on being able to kind of get our kind of again empowerment, or get our community together to be able to push kind of certain things, right? There are many movements out today that focuses on getting kind of fair, try to earn as much as men, or try to get as much work-life balance or benefits also for women, right? So I think those are great things we can also focus on. Okay. The other question I think we have is kind of how Komo and Bixie again can support us, I guess, in those challenges. So I think we talked a lot about. I think we can talk. I think we talked a lot about that actually during the call, right? So I think we can focus on kind of. We can focus on maybe just the general theme of empowerment and financial awareness and inclusion. But I think where Bixie and Komo can help is creating a community for people to be able to support each other and learn more about finances. And again, offering the tools and knowledge to be able to also tangibly make that kind of progress, right? So I think the most helpful would be maybe to download both Komo and the Bixie app to see kind of all the different conversations that people are having, and also learn from them, and so that we could learn from each other for all these different kind of issues or topics we want to raise, right? So I think that would be kind of the most helpful. Okay, cool. I think that's about it. So I wanted to thank everyone kind of for joining me for the call today. And I wanted to also kind of just thank Bixie again for inviting us, and hoping that we can kind of continue on our journey and continue our partnership. So any more questions you have, feel free to send to us. But thank you once again. Bye, guys.